everyone. It is crazy right now in the world, is it not? This coronavirus thing is insane. Thankfully, we serve a God who is sovereign and we can trust him. He is in control. This didn't catch him by surprise. But I wanted to come on here and chat with those of you who are being thrown in to homeschooling because of this coronavirus. Your kids were in public school, they were in private school, the schools have shut down, and now you are trying to figure out how to do this whole thing of educating your kids at home. And what I'm going to share is just my number one tip for you. And this tip applies to those of you who have been homeschooling for years, who maybe have been homeschooling for just a couple years. I mean, it's just a good thing to keep in mind and to practice and to put in place when you're homeschooling. But I'm going to kind of address those of you who are being thrown into this whole new world of homeschooling without any thought. You just all of a sudden, bam, now you've got to educate your kids at home, or at the very least, keep them entertained and hopefully have some educational things in there as well. So my number one tip is to have a routine. Have a routine. A routine is so important, but a routine is different than a schedule. Schedules are for schools. Schedules have times to them. 8 to 9 is math. 9 to 10 is history. That's a schedule. That's for schools. Routines work so much better in homes. So what is a routine? A routine is just kind of the flow of your day. You've planned things out in a certain order, but they're not attached to any set time. And I'm going to give you an example in just a minute. But there's a couple things that I think are really important when you're thinking about making a routine for your family. 3 specific things that I want you to keep in mind that are really important to incorporate into your routine. Number 1, incorporate chores into your routine. If your kids are going to be home making messes, then they can certainly contribute to cleaning them up and keeping the house orderly. So incorporate chores into your routine. Amen? Amen. They make the messes, they can clean them up. And honestly, this is something that we really want to build into our children anyways. We want them to be responsible. We want them to see a need and take initiative and meet that need. If they see a pile of laundry that has not been folded, we want our kids to see it and take initiative and fold it without us asking. But sometimes it starts with just incorporating chores and helping our kids learn first and foremost that they just need to be a part of keeping the home clean and helping around the house. So incorporate chores. The second thing that you want to incorporate into your routine is some quiet time. For those of you moms who are pulling that your kids have come out of the public and private school, you are used to having probably a lot of quiet time, especially if you don't have little ones in the home. And now your house is noisy all the time and you've got kids, your kids are all over the place. There's no quiet. Well, guess what? Even as homeschool moms, we enjoy some quiet every now and then. And so you can incorporate a quiet time into your routine. That's just a time where your kids know, maybe it's for a half hour, maybe it's for an hour, depending on their age, where they're just going to do a quiet activity. And so something that your kids can do during this quiet time would be maybe read a book, do a puzzle, do coloring. I prefer that our quiet time is screen free. And so I usually have my kids read for about half an hour. I set a timer. When the timer goes up, then they know that they have to now move on to another quiet activity, whether that's playing a game with each other quietly, a board game or a card game, or it's doing a puzzle or it's coloring. They have to find something else to do quietly. And then I will let them know when the hour is up. They don't need to set the timer for another 30 minutes. I will come out and let them know when the quiet time is over. And of course, I want to be diligent to to follow through with what I say. And if I say it's going to be an hour, I want to come out after an hour and not let it drag on and on, because then my children can't learn to trust me. And I definitely want them to know that they can trust me. But an hour quiet time is a good thing to add into your routine. Here's the third thing that you want to incorporate into your routine: something educational. As homeschoolers, we are incorporating, schoolwork or into our homeschool routine. That's just woven in. Usually we do school in the morning and the afternoons are more free time, but different homeschool families do it differently. Something to keep in mind though, when we're talking about educational stuff, is that educational stuff means our kids are learning, and our kids are really learning all the time. So they don't have to learn from a textbook. They can learn from doing things. And so there are a lot of opportunities even in your home. Even if you can't get out of your home, there's a lot of opportunities for learning even in your home. Maybe it's an educational video. Maybe it's doing some kind of baking in your home, doing a science experiment, maybe getting your kids out in the garage and building something with wood and nails. Those are all opportunities for your kids to learn. And so it doesn't have to be a textbook. It doesn't have to be a workbook and a worksheet. They can learn in so many different capacities. It doesn't have to be kind of what we normally think of when we think of school and sitting at a desk and reading and doing worksheets. Lots of other ways to learn. So just keep that in mind. So let me give you just a little example of what a routine might look like. So a routine, for maybe those of you who have now had to bring your kids home because schools are closed, a routine might look something like this. When your household starts to wake up, whenever that is, you let your kids know that when they get up, they need to eat breakfast, they need to get dressed, and they need to do their chore. This is a great time to incorporate chores, maybe even put up a little list so your kids know what chores they're responsible for. Even little kids can do chores. You'd be amazed at what even a 2-year-old can accomplish, maybe with a little guidance and assistance from you in the beginning, but they really can help out a lot as well. So have your kids get up, get ready, and then they know that they do chores. When their chores are done, they know that they just move into maybe some more formal type of academics and formal type of learning. Maybe your school has sent home a packet of work for your student to do. Maybe you found some free resources on the internet that you have printed out and that you're using for your kids. This would be a great time to do a little bit more formal academics, formal learning. I would say to let your kids know that this formal learning is going to last for a certain amount of time. If they're little, maybe it's only 15 minutes. Maybe older kids, an hour. You kind of have to look at maybe if your school sent something home and there's a lot to do, then obviously that's going to dictate how much time you tell them that they're going to have to spend. But let them know, hey, once you get up, once you've done your chores and you've gotten ready, I want you to do your schoolwork. Maybe say you're going to do it for an hour. And let them know if they are really working diligently at it, they're focused, they're not getting distracted, that when that hour or whatever that set time is up, let them know they can be done because you have seen that they have been working hard, focused, and being diligent. Now let them also know that if they're going to goof off and not focus and they're going to whine and complain about doing an hour of school at home, schoolwork at home, let them know that then they're going to either miss out on some of the more fun activities later, or they're going to have to, keep working on that assignment until it's done, or maybe they're going to have to finish it later in the day, however you want to fit that into your routine. But most kids, if they know, hey, if I work really hard for this set amount of time and I don't finish, my mom's going to be okay with it because I've worked hard at it. They're usually motivated to work hard and be diligent. And if they don't get it done, that's okay. Always tomorrow, or maybe later in the day if you plan that into your routine later in the day. So you've got a little formal learning. Then maybe after that's the time that you go out and it's free time for them. You say, hey, let's get outside and take a walk together as a family. Let's play in the backyard. Let's do something fun in the house, some games or some kind of activity. If you've got younger ones, maybe that's the time you're going to pull out Play-Doh and they're going to do some kind of fun activity with their Play-Doh or an art project, just something fun for your kids to do that they enjoy and that you can enjoy along with them. After that, you might just move right into lunch. Usually about that time, people start to get hungry, so you eat lunch. After lunch, whenever you finish eating lunch, is a great time to have this quiet time where your kids go and read a book or do something quiet, and mom has a little break to herself, a little sanity break, right? So this is great, a great time right after lunch to let the kids just calm down, do something quiet, and you can have a little break for yourself. And then when that time is up, maybe you're going to do some other kind of learning, maybe watch a video, maybe do some baking, whatever it is. And then you can say after that is your free time. Maybe that's when they can get screen time and play video games, or they can go back outside or whatever. I personally like, if I'm going to have my kids have screen time, I like it to be right before dinner when I'm making dinner and I've kind of reached my limit. And I just need kind of my kids to be entertained and me just to have another moment. I know I've already had about an hour to myself. In theory, I do have 7 kids, so it doesn't always work out. That quiet time doesn't always work out for me because I've got 7 and I've got little ones. But, by dinner time, sometimes I just want to just put on a podcast and make dinner. And so it's a great time for my kids to play Wii or to watch something on TV. And then you have dinner. And here's the great thing. Your kids don't have to go to school the next day. So after dinner, you can do something fun as a family, like play some games together as a family and just make some great memories together during this time that your kids are home from school. Go to bed, and whenever everybody wakes up the next day, you start the routine over again. Notice here that the key is I just had chunks of our day kind of scheduled out. And it just followed that when we finished one thing, we moved on to the next. After we had breakfast, we got dressed, we moved on to chores. After we did chores, we moved on to doing a little schoolwork. After schoolwork, we moved on to free time. After free time was lunch, quiet time. After quiet time, maybe some kind of fun activity and more free time or screen time, dinner, family game time, and bed. And so it's just a nice flow or rhythm or routine, whatever you want to call it, to your day. So your kids know what to expect. They know what's expected of them. Everybody's on the same page, but it's not this strict schedule where everybody's looking at their watch and going, oh my gosh, I only have 1 more minute to finish my lunch or, before it's quiet time. We don't want that, okay? Schedules are for school, routines are for the home. And so whether you're trying to get some academic learning in during this time, or you just need something to help you manage your kids while they are home from school, a routine is a great thing to have. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments, and I would love to hear from you. What are some things that you do during this time home with your kids at home that help make the day go a little bit smoother and keep everybody on track? Love to hear from you. Leave it down in the comments.